Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, February 1st. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Ana Rodriguez. We've got a snowy commute for many of you. You had snow in the overnight hours. The ground is covered with snow when you walk out the door, and Boston is going to have
it could be a bit slippery this morning, Boston. We'll show you what's happening because I want you to notice those temperature differences too. Pittsburgh, you're at 37. Boston, you're at 28. And Boston, you're going to start warming up. So today is actually going to be a fairly mild February 1st day, at least at or above average. We get our clipper to move on out. There's some pieces of energy kind of rotating through. It's what been bringing your snow across lower Michigan right through the overnight. So that's what we're going to watch, plus some lake effect out there throughout parts of the Northeast. Still keeping it kind of snow showery. I mean, you look at this and you say, well, it's not really through just yet. And that's because there's just a little bit of a little energy in the upper atmosphere that's helping to trigger some snow showers out there. All right, Boston, we've got the snow showers continuing. Visibility running about 2 miles. So that's a light kind of coating of snow that's happening for you. We get through the afternoon today. There'll be some snow showers right across I-80 again today. Travelers, be ready for that. I-76, Pennsylvania Turnpike. Scattered snow showers continuing, and then the lake effect kicks in. And especially we think off of Lake Ontario, that lake effect will be pretty persistent, really adding up because that continues into Friday. All right, so snow still yet to come. The lakes, of course, help a lot, and that's where we get more than a foot of snow, maybe even a foot and a half of snowfall near Watertown or just south of there. We're going to get another, say, 1 to 3 inches of snow on top of what we've already had across northern New England, and then we'll be looking at areas of western New York and parts of western Pennsylvania, down across the highlands of Pennsylvania into western Maryland, picking up another 1 to 3, again, on top of what you had. Enough to make the road slippery, so be ready for that driving across this area. It's this morning in Pittsburgh. We have some light snow showers. Temperatures are going to be at or above the freezing mark, and that will really help with road conditions, but there still will be some slushy spots. You know how it is. It is winter, so you need to be ready for changing weather and be ready for changing visibility, too, with some of these snow squalls. Boston, we get done with the snow pretty early here this morning, and then we pop up into the low 40s. All right, looking good. Let's talk more about what's happening across this area. The boundary is sort of sagging south, sort of stuck and stationary, and you can see where we've got what looks like light precip all on the radar, and it is very light. Not all of this reaching the ground, but from central Illinois into Indiana, even into Ohio, we got to watch for maybe some light drizzle, some light snow, some light flurries. All could be happening here. Temperatures at or above the freezing mark, but there still could be some slick spots, especially bridges and overpasses. So I want to talk about what's happening here because today, the radar is going to look like that. There's not going to be a ton happening, but every once in a while, you might get some light precipitation that hits the ground, and that's when you run into some of those travel problems. A little more likely for you, though, across West Virginia, again, where you have the upslope flow and you get the mountains that really help wring out any moisture that's in the atmosphere. Cincy, this is how it pans out for us. Slight chance of rain, snow mixing this morning. Temperatures up about 40. Our temperatures staying steady through the day today, and there'll be a couple of showers we think about lunchtime here as well. Again, very light, any of the precip that we get across the area. Pittsburgh, looking at you, we're going to be watching for a little bit of snow this morning, a couple of snow showers out there that if they come down heavy enough will accumulate. So be ready for that on the roads for your morning commute, and especially at the tail end of the morning commute. All right, let's see what else is happening here on your Wednesday morning. Let's get our weather headlines.
Broke a record yesterday.
Number of days that hit 70 plus in Atlanta. We didn't break an actual daily record, but we were awfully close, all things considered. So I want to talk about Atlanta and say good morning to you and actually talk about the South and all the warmth we've had. Georgia wrapping up the month of January with a new record. We had a record number of 70 plus degree days. So 11, which beat the old record of 10, which was set back in 1950. And looking good this morning, too. Very mild out there. So again, we set that new record set back in 1950, which was a very warm month. It's interesting when you look at the numbers that 1950 is actually going to turn out to be a warmer month, January, than ours will be, even though we've had more 70-degree days now. It's just that overall the days were warmer and the nights were warmer too back in 1950. Anyway, we take a look at what's happening here. I think we're going to have our 7th warmest January on record in Atlanta. Nashville, we got a front that is going to cool us down, and we're already losing degrees out there compared to where we were yesterday, 39 degrees. So you'll notice a little bit of a temperature change there due to that front today. 61 degrees in Nashville, which is still above average, but it doesn't compare to the 75 that you have in Jacksonville and the 70 in Atlanta and the 75 in Jackson, Mississippi. So that warm air is in place for another day. Here's how your next 7 days pan out across the South. I-20 and points southward stay relatively mild, staying above average. We're going to go above average again today and tomorrow. Saturday is the one day where we might get a little closer to average, but we're still up above. And then into next week, look at that big warm up going going into the 70s by Tuesday. All right, for Nashville, again, we are going to lose a couple degrees thanks to this front. We'll get to average or a smidge below on Friday. But then by Saturday, we're starting that warming trend. Sunday looks like a warm day. And Tuesday, you also will see temperatures getting back into the 70s. Got a big ridge forming across the country next week in Andromeda. There's a lot of warmth and a lot. You can kind of see that actually on the tower cam. Temperatures warm again today. Hottest temperatures in the nation yesterday in South Texas. It was Cotulla, Texas with 84. Houston, we're going to near 80, well above our averages, which are in the mid-60s this time of year. So Dallas, we start in the mid-50s. Houston, we start nearly 60. You see that fog happening in Austin. Southerly winds going to keep us on the warm side through today. Really nice days out here. I mean, nothing really to complain about. Not terribly humid. It's going to be nice and mild, 73, and sunny in Dallas, 79 in San Antonio, and even up towards Wichita and Oklahoma City, where we've had a little bit of cooler air seep on in. It's still not bad. Temperatures running about 48 degrees in Wichita. Not bad for a February 1st. Now for Dallas, over the weekend, we're going to start to see, or at least to start the weekend, I would say we're going to cool down for a minute and then we warm right back up again. And the trend is really warm getting into next week, back into the 70s. But tomorrow and then on Friday, again, thanks to that little front dipping on down, we will seep in some cooler air, knock us down below average for a couple of days, but not that far below average. Certainly not record-breaking cold. That's nothing that we're going to see here across the plains. In fact, we're likely to see record highs today than we will be to see any record cold readings in Andromeda. You know, that's been the case, right, for so long.
For so many people. Even parts of the Northeast have seen record high temperatures in the month of
Sunday. So again, that storm system will be the main weather maker across the middle of the country heading east. Now in the west, we do have more rain waiting in the wings to come on in. So we'll see that especially across Northern California, right up into coastal Oregon and Washington, with the snow showers spreading to the mountains farther inland there into the west. Now in the east, that whole system which is talking about moving east up to the north, you'll see there is some cold air behind that. Temperatures in the teens and 20s right here as we wrap up the St. Paul Winter Carnival this weekend.
half past the hour on this Wednesday, February 1st. Welcome back to AMHQ early. It's February.
I know, hard to believe, right? January flew by. It didn't even feel like January for so many. We got some snow out there this morning, though, as we kick off a new month. We'll show you where and where we've already seen snow, like New York. You picked up finding across the Northeast as we see our clipper leave. But in general, we just sort of have these little pieces of energy. It's actually what's keeping us snowing right now in lower Michigan. We're going to see that help bring some snow, plus lake effect snow across interior parts of the Northeast. It's a sloppy pattern. Nothing, you know, that you can sort of pin any one thing that you can pin the snowfall on, but you're going to be getting it here today in various spots, especially the lake effect will kick in, and then the upslope will kick in as well. And then again, any little disturbances that kick off a few snow showers, some instability showers, that could happen as well again today as well. By tomorrow and into early Friday, the lake effect will be the only story left, and then that wraps up as we get into the weekend. But until then, we're going to add up. Boston not likely to throw a whole lot more snow down there to accumulate. We think up in parts of Maine, we might see about 1 to 3 inches. But then we've got where the lake effect kicks in, 1 foot to 1.5 feet of snowfall. You'll see that affecting Interstate 81. South of Buffalo on 90, Dunkirk, New York, you're going to see some snowfall on the order of several inches. In fact, you could see up to 1 foot of snow in a few local areas there. And then, of course, down into the highlands of Pennsylvania. Be careful driving. That's where we have some snowfall on the order of several inches for you. Boston, it wraps up early this morning, and then we're free and clear, and we're warming up as temperatures go to the low 40s here in Boston. It's going to be a much warmer day than yesterday all across New England. Now, for Bangor, Maine, although you might be the exception, we stay chilly. We're going to see temperatures stay in the teens and 20s. In fact, we start this morning in the single digits. Snow showers sticking around. A couple inches of snow are possible here. Then we dry out by the spring, which everyone wants to know. Everyone asks me if I have inside scoop, and I don't. No one does. All right, let's take a look out there. Pittsburgh, we do have some light snow showers in the area this morning. We've got that boundary that's kind of stalled out right across the Midwest, right overhead for Indianapolis and Champaign, Urbana. We've got light precip, a lot of this not hitting the ground. And so that's key to know as you look at the radar. But also know that there could be a little bit of drizzle. There could be some flurries, and that all could be creating some slick spots, especially on bridges and overpasses. Now, as we get through tonight, that sort of dries up, and then we do keep an eye on any upslope snow showers across western and central Pennsylvania, the mountains of West Virginia. That continues as well right into tomorrow in the morning anyway. All right, Cincinnati, let's take a look at your forecast. The slight chance of a shower or a snow shower shower through the morning. You see how temperatures, though, are in the upper 30s, if not near 40. Temperatures stay pretty much steady through the day. There is the chance of a few showers, but it's a low chance. Low pops out there today. All right, for Pittsburgh, a couple of snow showers in effect right through the morning. We'll see perhaps a new snow coat out there on top of some of the roads that haven't been treated. But other than that, with temperatures in the mid-30s, that will really help the road conditions. Anna Riddis is watching other. And, in the movie, it was a love story. Groundhog Day getting the media coverage that, that it does today. Actually started back in the 1960s with a love story. Sam Light, the president of the Groundhog Day, and a reporter in Pittsburgh. There's a little background for you. I want to talk about some places that are hoping for an early spring. Let's go to the West, Idaho, Montana, Oregon. Look how far above average we are with snowfall this winter. All right, I put my clicker down, so I'm going to need a little help here, Dominic. Thank you. I'm sorry. But well above average. It has been certainly a very snowy winter across the Northwest. You might be hoping for an early spring. If we look at Punxsutawney, what are the odds of Phil seeing a shadow or not? Because if he sees his shadow, if skies are clear and he sees a shadow, he goes back into his burrow, and that's 6 more weeks of winter. It's a cloudy forecast. I will tell you, this time of year in western Pennsylvania, it's a cloudy time of year, but there's so many bright lights, and the disposition in Punxsutawney is so sunny all the time that most of the time Phil does see his shadow and predicts 6 more weeks of winter. So we will see.
Tokyo Olympics actually just announced that the medals are going to be made from partly recycled electronic devices. So they're
that's a great idea.
Isn't
I love that.
It's like ties into their whole theme of sustainability. They're setting up these collection sites across the country and asking people any unwanted electronic devices.
That's great, because what do you do with them, right? Yeah, your old iPhone could go into a medal for the Olympics. That's really cool. All right, let's take a look at what's next with winter weather. We're going to watch the West, and we're going to watch pieces of energy from the West actually be a big part of the weather story. The Northeast, though, as we take a look at what's happening for you, we've been a little below average. I mean, we just showed you the West and how above average we are in Idaho and Montana and Oregon with snowfall. Opposite story in the East. We're running below average in Portland, Maine, and Boston, running more than 8 inches below average. New York, we're a little below average. I haven't done that bad, actually. In D.C., we're about 7 inches below average. So let's look at the snow this morning and where it is. We've got some light snow out there. Boston, it's very light. Your visibility has been about 2 miles. While you might get a little bit of a new coating with that, you're not going to get much accumulation out of what's happening right now. The next real chance of getting any big snow into the Northeast is actually with the lake effect. So we'll get, sort of some light snowflakes, sort of the snow globe effect happening out there today. And then the lake effect kicks in, and that becomes a bigger snow maker. Plus the upslope. I mean, don't underestimate that. You can get easily 3 to 5 inches of snow out of that upslope here in Pennsylvania and down into West Virginia and Western Maryland included in that as well. You can see the flow coming in from the west, right? So that western flow over the Great Lakes will continue to bring in those snow showers, say around Watertown, and then south of Buffalo too. We'll get some of the lake effect. For Boston, it's just a couple of snowflakes as we look out the window right now, and what you see is what you get. Then we clear out, we dry out. Temperatures today are going to be a lot warmer than yesterday. It stayed cool and stayed chilly in the Northeast yesterday. A lot of spots not getting out of the 20s, like in Providence, Rhode Island. Now, what's next, you might be wondering? Well, we've got our next disturbance. It's actually sort of 2 pieces that we're going to watch in the northern branch and southern branch of the jet stream moving east. Now, there's going to be enough cold air out there that we do see some snow off to the north, and there'll be rain off to the south. But as we, take a look at the overall pattern, there's no real one strong system to sort of bring it all together. So everything should be fairly light. There's limited access to moisture as well. Snowfall out there possible from Milwaukee to Chicago to Detroit. Pittsburgh, a little more snow for you by Sunday. But in between, this transition zone is where we worry about the sleet or maybe even the freezing rain where the cold air gets stuck down at the surface. Anna Riddis.
Is that the same system that starts out in the west bringing rain and snow?
It's a piece of it.